What's going on, everyone? I want to thank anyone out there that is going to be watching. I just want to thank them for watching this video on Kundalini awakening in Islam. And this topic is huge. It's a huge topic, as in the scope of it is so large that uh, I could be talking about this for literally for days in different aspects. But I just want to introduce this whole concept to Muslims out there that have been confused like I was for most of my life. Even when I get into spirituality, when I get into really asking myself questions that that the Imams weren't able to ask. I mean, weren't able to answer. They weren't able to answer these questions that I asked them specifically at different times throughout the past year. And uh, and the answer that I got from them was pretty much like that's ghaib, that's the unknown, and you can't ask these questions, and we just have to have faith and believe, And my thing was like, what's our thing about Kundalini? What is that Kundalini energy? It's like, well, it's the nafs. We understand it's the nafs, but it's larger than that. See, we do have these terms in our religion, in Islam, and it's explained those same concepts like Kundalini and energy and the vibrations and frequency and dimensions and all these scientific concepts of all these concepts, right? They're said in science by telling you about the atoms and about the electrons and protons, and when something takes away a electron, it becomes negative, and then it takes a positive from the another positive and becomes a negative. If it has one electron to give, it's all very scientific, logical kind of explanation. And we as a people in the Western culture, raised here in America, I was raised here. I don't know about a lot of people, but I'm 40 years old, and I've been here since I was 30. I mean, since I was three and a half years old, so I don't know anything else but this culture. And 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 what science can't explain, logically, it falls into imagination, spirituality, religion, basically. That's what I mean. This is a quote by Einstein. It says, what he said, something like, what science can't explain. I'm going to give you the quote right now. I mean, I'm online. Okay, what science can't answer. Okay, here. What science can't okay, I can't find this quote, but it's something about imagination, the power of imagination, and basically, I'm not going to get into that, but the Kundalini energy. So Kundalini is signified in by the ancient mystics and all that as it's a energy of it's basically your nafs. It is the primordial energy that is you. Okay, that is you. It is, it senses the physical, it senses emotion, and it's created by the divine, right? It's created by the divine, and basically it's like a outer representation of the soul. And everyone's kundalini, everyone's kundalini is there. Otherwise, they wouldn't be physical. You would not be in the physical if you didn't have any Noor. You have to have some Noor. You have to have some Noor, light of Allah, to be even saying that you're Muslim or to say that you believe in XYZ. Okay, you have to have something, even an atom seed of belief. That's a little bit of Noor. Okay, that's a little bit of light. Okay, and what Kundalini is, it's the same thing. It's just, is your Kundalini active? Is your Noor active? Is your Noor covered up, like most people's are, I believe, even mine, and like most people in the physical, their Kundalini has been stifled. Okay. And it's time to release that Kundalini, to let the Noor shine past all that gunk that you put on, and to see the actual reality, because we all know it's an illusion. Even the ancient people that talked about Kundalini energy, they all know that this is an illusion. And an awakened Kundalini understands it's an illusion, and it knows the trappings of the illusion, what keeps it down in the physical plane. And someone with the active Noor, which is the light of Allah, it's literally the light of Allah. Where is it from? Noor is a light of Allah. It's a little piece, little light of Allah, because you can't have all of it. Otherwise, you just, disintegrate or whatever. I don't know. That's what they say. You can't see all of Allah. Otherwise, you will be blinded. The mountains will be destroyed, whatnot. But the point is, you have this little bit of light, and and your body is like a furnace to make this light stronger. It's a vessel, and you have to awaken the Kundalini through a certain series of steps. We There's chakras, there's energy meridians in our body. So, for example, in Islam, one of the first, the first body part, the first part of you that's going to be asked about, like, asked into account of its deeds, is going to be the hip. It's crazy. Someone told me this, right? Somebody that's really into this, it's kind of, the hip was going to be the first thing to be asked. And it's like, why the hip? It's because the hip, in other cultures, other traditions, they understood that part of the body is where the root chakra is. The root chakra, which is like the base chakra, which has to do with security, has to do with creativity, has to do with sexuality, like sexual, energy. And then the first three chakras are everything to do with the physical. It's like tasting of the foods, your stomach, basically your sexual organs, and like that thought, and your creativity. Creativity and sexual energy is the same thing. So this stuff is really important to know, because if these parts of you are blocked, then it's going to manifest somewhere else, but out of balance. So, for example, say you're married. Okay, say you're married, and you've been, say you've gained weight, or the wife has gained weight, or you have gained weight, and you don't feel good about yourself, and that um, sexual stuff is not happening anymore. It's slowed down now. It's once a month, or once every 2-3 months, and it's like you love each other, but it just aren't attracted to each other. That kind of energy, that sexual energy, that tension is going to go somewhere else. It might go into, okay, maybe one of you won't feel that loss of energy, because that passion, that creativity is going into building a project. It might be going into your work. Now it's like all that energy, now you're putting into your work, and you're being trapped into work now, and like, it's going somewhere else. So what I'm saying is, like, you can balance it out. This is energy. um, and sometimes it works the opposite way too, where if you're putting too much of your energy only into the physical sexual energy, and that's it, then you are taking away creative aspects of your life in other parts of your life that you might need. If you're I don't know, into some kind of like some kind of work where you have to think of different codes and all that stuff, then that energy, it'll be harder for you to tap into that space in your mind to have great ideas for that project. Okay. Um, okay. So say that area is like taken care of. But then you might be feeding your stomach. See, you might be eating so much that it's making different problems happen in your life. Too much meat, gout. Too much sweet. You might start gaining a lot of weight because all those calories, and you're stressed out, because all these things that are happening, that you're not secure about your life, and you're worried about the future, and you're eating, and your insulin spikes up, and since you're worried about all these things, and you're watching the news, and you're worried about the economy, you're worried about your bank account, you're worried about tomorrow, you're worried about everything, everybody scares you, then your cortisol level will spike up. And if you have insulin in your blood and cortisol, then whatever calories you have, it's going to be fat, and you'd be like, oh, I only eat this little piece of thing, this and that. But you're stressed all day, and you're eating, and you eat stressed, and that is not going to be absorbed. It's going to do the minimum it can, but it's going to store all that stuff because it's thinking in terms of something's going to happen to me in the future. So I have to stock up like a chimp, not a chimp, but a chipmunk, and kind of and save up for that future event that I'm worried about. It's like a very animal mind. It's like that reptilian mind. You don't see when your Kundalini energy, when your Noor is not activated, you are living in the reptilian controlled mind where you are just caring about your survival, when this is an illusion. This is a dunya. This is an illusion. Why are you worried about your survival? No one's going to survive. You're going to die, but you're not really going to die. You're scared to death. You think you're going to die. You're just going to go to another existence. And this is the lesser of the two, but doesn't mean this one is supposed to be suffering. No, this one will, the better this one is, and the more you're aware, and the more you activate your Noor, and you see with the Noor of Allah, and you see the lies, so you're not going to be tricked. Nothing can trick you. They tell you the gas prices go up. It's not going to shake your heart. It's not going to make you scared a little bit. Sometimes I'll be honest with you. Like I was really like my happiness was tied to like security of like my projects working out, and it was doing pretty bad. Like I was losing money, and then I had multiple projects going on, and they're all losing money, and my time was being wasted, and it's like I was becoming more and more like depressed and scared about everything. But it's like I gave my future to those things, and they're all outside of me. But I was operating under that whole thing of like, oh, I gotta make some money, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And it's always operating in terms of like scared about the future. And every decision I made was at that vibration. So whatever I ate, it was always worried about something in the future. It's subconscious level. Everybody I talked to, it all would have, the angle would be, how's this person gonna help me? And okay, can this person, do this and that, and like I said, it's all subconscious level. Some people do it at the conscious level. Those people are really desperate. They made the dunya totally real. And the thing is, like, what does it have to do with like how's it going to improve my life? Awakening my energy, my Kundalini. Well, basically, you go past these areas. You don't get your energy, your nafs, your Noor. Okay, the Noor is stuck down here. Okay, you have to let it go up. Okay, let it go up and lighten where you see from. You see from your pineal gland. You don't see with your eyes. You see with your pineal gland. And that pineal gland needs a certain form of energy to actually, well, it always has it. When babies are born, they're born with an open pineal gland, and they're very spiritual beings, like babies are really connected to Allah, right? And then as they get like certain ages and like 9 years old, and then they become more like how we make them out to be, how society makes them rigid and stuff, and not believing in their fairy tales and stuff. And they should. The thing is, the pineal gland, it's all the other organs are there to support it. See what I'm saying? Every organ we have, from the fingers to your liver to your kidney and everything, it's all to make this physical thing operate efficiently. For what though? So the pineal gland can be whenever it gets those senses, when those get those neurological connections and stuff, it is going to be totally like in a healthy, efficient state. And that means eating the foods that help your body, you know, whatever helps the liver helps, you know, the blood with, you know, it's all connected, you know. So it's like um, each organ represents different aspects of us, you know, in terms of this, the metaphysical aspect, the energy aspect. Like when you have sadness, you know, then what is the hormones produced in sadness? You know, when you're depressed and sad, there's certain hormones that are produced, and your body produces certain hormones, and maybe to make you happy, to make you, for the body to feel good, you might want a donut, and that for you know, an hour it makes you feel good because you that sugar rush and all that stuff is happening, and it's like kicking off dopamine and stuff like that, and it's good. But then you need more and more donuts, you know, you need more and more energy and more sugar, and that stuff is really addictive. And then see the pattern here, like the root cause does never gets tackled, which is the different barriers and different spiritual and physical hangups that are blocking you, you know. um, Say, you know, if your root, your security is good, as in like you understand everything, you understand the reality, you know, you have a roof over your head, you have everything's at this moment right now, you're perfect, you know. When you understand that, and then you go to the next step. Okay, eat better food, you know, get that gut bacteria, uh, you know, the good gut bacteria really, the probiotics really flourishing, you know, and eat food. When you eat foods, you're absorbing the nutrients and all that stuff, and then which entail gives you more energy, like not just sugar rushes and caffeine highs, you know, real energy from like nutrients, you know. And then you move to your heart. You know, your heart, you know, your heart's pumping better because you started being a little physical now, and your heartbeat is, you know, it's pumping good. And then but you have to let go of like of you know, of you have to forgive people. You have to forgive, you have to forget about someone that did bad to you. You know, not, you have to forgive them. You don't have to forget them, you don't have to be their friend, but you have to, at least you can't carry that grudge in your heart, you know, because that feeling, that's a vibration, and with it, it requires a certain other stuff that, for it to exist, you know, for you to hold a grudge. For example, I used to avoid somebody, um and I just avoided them, you know, I didn't want to talk to them and stuff. So i would I would have to, at a certain time, like at Friday, I would have to go here instead of there, you know, only because of that. It would change, it would dictate my life in a negative way. Like, I'm like saying, why the hell am I doing this? You know, it's like, what am I scared of? You know, like, you know what? Next time I saw him, I kind of like, I forgave him in my heart. I forgave him. I really saw, like, you know what? It was all our fault. It was my fault. It was our emotions. It was this and that. And basically, that person doesn't have to forgive me or anything, as long as I did, and I don't avoid them, and I don't, you know, make it awkward. Then it's on me, you know, because it's like, I took away the poison that I had. It's a poison in your heart, you know, whether either it was their fault or your fault, whatever, it's poison. And it's like, and then also you start you start living your truth, you know, you start speaking your truth, you start speaking out, you know, not joining organizations. I'm talking about like, you have certain values about yourself. You say you're truthful, kind, calm person that is helpful, you know. um like, you have certain values that you have, internal values, and now you have to ask yourself, are you holding true to those values, you know? And just start holding true to those values internally. It is basically speaking truth. Okay, that's, and then automatically you start speaking truth. You know, you start not being the person that corrects everybody. That's not the kind of person. That's annoying. That's a person that goes around correcting everybody is very insecure, because they need everyone to believe what they believe. in order for their belief system to hold validity and strength. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you just know the truth because you speak the truth. You understand the vibration of that truth. Okay, truth in terms of, you know, the values you have, you know, the truth in terms of what uh, you know about this reality. You know, no one can trick you. You know, that's the I mean, a lot of Muslims, they don't like talking about this kind of stuff because it's too abstract, and we became too logical. You know, the logical mind is the nafs. It's rooted in the physical. It needs physical dunya proof of non-physical things. It's like, come on, you can't. It's like that is what a lot of people say they have faith, right? But they want proof for everything, you know. But then when I tell them a metaphor, Islamic metaphor, then it's like that abstract. You know, they don't need proof for that, you know. But it's like no, and really, you actually do want proof for that. You just don't even like talking about it because you want proof for it, but no one can really give it to you, and you feel bad for even questioning that you want proof for it. But there's proof. There's proof for everything. There's proof. You know, the Noor is everybody has Noor. You know, everybody has that Noor. And guess what? Everybody has chakras, 7 chakras. Why do we go around the Kaaba 7 times? See, there's there's metaphors and there's rituals in our faith that um, tells the same story about the chakras, about the how to, you know, the body and all that. But it's told in a way for the desert Arabs to understand in their vernacular, in their cultural connotation. They can understand it by going around the Kaaba 7 times counterclockwise, and there's a stone that gets dirty, and it represents the heart, you know, and the soul getting dirty, you know, and that you have to purify that. And how do you purify it? You purify it by doing these certain rituals, okay? But you have to understand the deeper meaning of those rituals. So the first circle is this, the second circle is that, the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, you know, seventh. And when you complete it, then your crown is open. Your energy body is going in a flow without baggages. You know, imagine a water flow going down, but then you have holes all over it. Maybe you have a huge hole right in the root chakra, you know, and maybe you have another big hole in your stomach, and then you have like some holes in the, you know, you got to patch these holes up. That's what the whole point is, to patch those holes up. You got to tackle the big holes, the big leaks first, okay? The big ones first, and then successively, you know, fix all the leaks. And you're going to get more leaks, but then you patch them up. And then you have a system inside you that is like a machine. It is like vigilant 24 hours a day. It's part of your like makeup. It's just part of your thing. Like, you know, as a police officer for like 7 years, so I still to this day have certain, I scan the area, like it's just natural to me, like, and where I sit in restaurants or whatever, I know where the exits are, and I subconsciously, you know, I'm in that energy. But it's like, you know, it just, you become that kind of person where, you know, it's like you see 5 steps ahead of you. You become a chess. This is a game of life. This is a game of chess. You know, you can be the pawns, you can be the different other pieces, but ultimately, when you understand this and energy, and you have your spiritual awakening, and you understand energy and motion and sacred geometry and the different how to harness different energies and how to get to certain uh, dark places in your mind in terms of for energy from your life, you can literally harness energy from within. And yeah, chess. So you don't, you can be just a, you can believe you're just a pawn. If you believe, if you believe you're a pawn, then you're going to be a pawn. Some pawns make it to kings and queens, you know, they make it to become a queen. Uh, that's a rare, right? But ultimately, you're the whole game itself. You're everything. That's what the truth is. And it's funny, we have so many different like stories, you know, hadith and things like that, and how like, you know, when your Noor is when your Noor is like bright in the day of judgment, then it's going to be like you'll be helping other people. They'll see your Noor. You're so bright, you know. And some people's Noor is going to be so small that they'll be taking like very small little steps, you know, and bumping into things all the time. And it's like it's just a metaphor, because this is what happens now when your Noor in the dunya right now is low. Then you're going to be bumping into situations and things that it will rock you and shock you all the time, because you don't have that light. You do have the light, you just haven't, you have to tear it away, you know. And we haven't, there's no system in our institutions that kind of get to us to that level by design, actually. I don't want to get into that, but things are changing now, and we see the we see the uh, what do you call it, result of that mindset from, like, you know, that corporate kind of like, you know, mindset that most people are instilled with now. You know, we just became like, most people are just widgets in the system. You know, they work all week and then they have a weekend. Weekend. You want to have a weekend, or do you want to have a strong end? You know, I want to have a strong everything. So I'm not going to have a weekday, and I'm not going to live for the weekend. And I will not buy into that understanding. Now, you can have a 9 to 5 job and the weekends off, but you can't see, you gotta go past that whole thought of like a weekend. So you can redefine yourself. When you redefine yourself, you become a different energy, even at your work. Now, the job that you might not like, or just do it because it pays the bills and that's what you studied and that's it, there's a reason why your soul is there. You can learn new things. You can move up in the ranks. You can learn new ideas. You can it can open other doors for you if you understand that, you know what, I created this whole industry, like Allah created it for me to be there right now. So what lesson do I have to learn from this? You know, it's like, use it as a stepping stone. Everything in your life is a stepping stone, no matter how bad or good it is or it seems. Like, even if you were bullied all your life, and you're like, you don't want to get, you know, you want to be different, it you agreed upon that. That was part of your predestination, to want to experience those things, so you can have that strength to become that polar opposite of that, you know, and to understand duality and to experience things. And it's just really interesting if you really think about it in terms of energy and vibration and frequency, and in terms of like you know, this is an illusion, you know, like when you're in a dream, is the when you're in a dream, right, you're dreaming, the place you're dreaming, was that created before you dreamed, before you were dreaming you were there? No, it was created because it is you also. In that dream, that is, you created the environment for you to be in that dream. And it's the same way now too. I mean, it's always been the same. And it's just that you have to understand that that you have to activate the light, you know. That is the light. That's a Noor of Allah. The Noor, it's like you see over this false light, the false reality. See, you think the sun has light, right? And bulbs and all those things are light. See, that is the false light. Do you get it? That's a false light. The real light is the Noor, right? So once you activate your Noor, it kind of covers that false light, and you see, like, it's like wearing glasses, you know. It's like the Noor glasses, and then you see, like, okay, when you're looking just like normally, like They Live, you know, it's like that. The movie, there's a movie from the 80s, you know, it's called They Live. When you look at reality with those glasses on, you see the energy behind it. You see the fakeness. You see the traps. You know, you see the real truth. And then when you take the glasses off, it's like you see a nice, like nice advertisement and whatnot. It's kind of the same. It's the same thing. You know, it just you have to. You'll find out. You know, you'll find out definitely because people are talking about this a lot more. You know, 5, 10 years ago, it was very, very fringe, and nobody ever publicly kind of talked about this, you know. And people in the past that started talking about these kind of things, they were targeted. They were targeted for sure, you know. And but we live in a different age now. Those same people, you know, it's like it's like you whatever you believe about life, that's what's going to happen. You know, if you believe that life is tough and everybody's out to get everybody else, then you will reflect that same mindset. And you will, you know, your whole life will be based upon those beliefs you have. And a lot of us have limiting beliefs. You know, we have limiting beliefs that keep you kind of, you know, they keep you, they don't serve you anymore, you know. And a lot of our limiting beliefs, you know, were traumas that we had throughout our lives. And maybe those times those beliefs served you at various stages of your life, but maybe now they don't. So um, you know, I had a lot of limiting beliefs too, and until I did my own judgment day. You know, like you have to have your own judgment days. Like, you know what, I am guilty. The belief came in, like, you know what, RR, you're you're not good enough to talk here. This is a belief. Like, you're not good enough to talk about anything online because you don't know anything. You're not fit enough. You're not healthy enough. You're not whatever. And so I would make a video and I'd be like, oh, I'm not gonna make another one. I don't feel good, you know. But then it's like, you know what? You take that belief and you're like, fine. You know what, belief? You're right. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to talk online. You win. And then that's it. It's like they win. Okay, I'm done playing that game. That game is over now. You won. Now I'm going to play this game. And this is my game that I create. And in this game I create, I am good enough. All right. And then some other beliefs might come in, you know, like, you know what, you're other ways. It's like, you know what, you might have a bad feeling about something, okay, and you do it anyways. And then you're like, okay, why did I get angry? You know, why did I okay, I got angry because this person said this thing. This person said, okay, I got angry because this person said, I don't know, Hondas are the worst car ever, you know. And I got angry. It's like, why did I get angry? It's like, what part of you got angry? Okay, because I just bought a Toyota. Sorry, I just bought a Honda, you know. And this person saying that basically by him saying that Hondas are the worst car ever, I made a bad choice, and no, I made a really good choice, you know. And you're arguing with that person, and then it's like you're angry. It's like, no, it's good, and no, it's bad, and you're trying to give them facts and, you know, this and that. But it's like, why not just let that person win? You know, fine, that person said the Honda is the worst car ever. Okay, you know what, you believe that? Okay, you're right, it's the worst. Okay, let's talk about this now, or let's move on. You know, it's like you allow that belief to win. And by it winning, you see that that belief never served you anyways. It didn't serve you to believe that you're not good enough to go online, or you're not good enough to propose that to your boss, to your director, to talk about this idea. You're not good enough. Just it's like you have to. There's a lot of limiting beliefs that we put on upon ourselves, and this whole process of Kundalini awakening. It basically it's a holistic approach to your whole life, and how to like become that ultimate vision you had of yourself. You had of yourself as a child and an adolescent, and in high school. I'm sure you didn't think of like working for a corporation and making sure your loans are paid out and this and that, and having this rigid lifestyle. I'm sure you didn't dream of that. You dreamed of like doing something you loved, and helping people out, or whatever the hell it might be, or designing some kind of boat, a boat designer. Somebody have a passion designing boats, like designing weird funny cars and stuff like that. There's jobs for that, and those people, those companies do look for people that have that passion for designing. Okay, anyway, so what I'm saying is that uh, Kundalini awakening in Islam is real, and it's not. Don't let words, scare you. Why is a word like Kundalini scaring you? Oh, I can't talk about Kundalini. Oh, it sounds devilish. It's like, what the hell, man? It's like you're gonna let some word scare you. You know, it's it's really doing yourself a disservice when you don't find out about this reality, and about really those questions you've had since you were 6 years old about Islamic questions, like why, okay, explain to me the, the, why do we go around 7 times? Why not six? I mean, why counterclockwise? Why isn't it not clockwise? There's a reason for that. I'm telling you, there's very deep reasons for that, which I will not get into, but it has to do with understanding not to go under certain constructs. See, counterclockwise, because all our chakras and stuff, they're spinning counterclockwise. It's like an energy vortex spinning counterclockwise, and also counterclockwise in the physical realm, to not be under the construct of what? Of time, of Chronos. Chronos is also Saturn. Saturn is also an energy. It's also a hexagon. It's also a triangle inverted, together. Star of David. Star of David is also, if you connect the stars, the dots, it's a hexagon. A hexagon is also a cube, which is a Kaaba too. And a cube is actually a cross. So you go around that 7 times counterclockwise, and inside there's a stone that is supposed to be from Jannah or something, and it signifies your soul, because your soul is not from the earth. It's not from the earth, Maya. It's not from this illusion. Your soul is rooted in Jannah. That's where it was created. That's where it is from, and that's where it wants to go back. But right now, it's stuck in the physical, and the bridge to go back, it's like it's been occupied, okay, by lower energies, okay, that we let we let those energies survive in our temple, in our body. Okay, I think I said enough, but yeah, I just wanted to kind of talk about this a lot more, especially since I'm about to launch my site very soon, within this month. Loveattractionformuslims.com. That was my plug. It's going to be I'm not going to hold anything back on that, and it's time for, you don't have to be Imam to interpret things, and nature is the best thing to interpret. Nature gives you all the answers, the cycles, the different, like everything gives you an answer, like like even anything, like tricking. People go hunting. Hunting season in Michigan is November 14th. Okay, and they don't just go hunting. They just pack up their guns and go to the field. No, for months before, right now probably they start to bait different areas. Like as fall approaches, what they're going to do is they're going to put corn out there. They're going to put like carrots out in certain places every month or every 3 weeks or something like that. And then the idea is those animals are gonna come back, and then they're gonna put it out before the hunting time, and they're gonna go in the same time, and guess what? Those deer are gonna go back to feed. I think it's illegal in some states, but anyways, this is like what happens to us too, in terms of like spiritually speaking, because like life is about living, it's not about being a widget in the system and hating your life and all that stuff. No, it's supposed to be pleasure. Why not? You know, but you can have both. You can have both. Okay. So please ask questions and let me know if anything resonates with you. If you have you heard anybody else talking about the Kaaba and why 7 times around and why in certain rituals? Everything is a ritual in life. Everything is a ritual. A ritual has an end result, and the end result isn't just doing something because it's been told to us to do it 7 times around. The end result is supposed to be you connecting that ritual to your own, like the chakras, and purifying your heart, and 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 it's represented in a physical nature like that. To you know and oh god, so much information about this kind of stuff. um the age 40, the prophethood was at age 40. Like 40 is actually the age of maturity. 40 is the age of, like, before 40 you're considered youth. And if you're over 40 years old and you still have not understood this matrix, then you haven't spiritually grown up. And a lot of people, their emotional IQ is their spiritual IQ. 10 years old, 12 years old. That's how most people are spiritually and emotionally. Like, there's studies on this. The emotional IQ is that of like a 13-year-old. In some regions, it's like 7-year-old emotional IQ. Like, before, they didn't talk about emotional IQ anymore. Now, the psychological societies and all that, they're talking about that. And they're having like different ranks. And it's a big deal. Okay. And think about it. This emotional IQ and the spiritual IQ is the same. Okay. Take care, everyone, and have a blessed, strong end. All right. Peace.